This month's webinar is Top 10 D3M Frequently Asked Questions, and these are questions that have been asked to us a variety of ways, from the chat box in the bottom chat bubble, bottom right corner of D3M. That's where you often, those of you that are already using D3M will send us your questions, tech support questions and things like that, and feedback, of course, which is very valuable. Keep sending your feedback whenever you have any notes to share with us. And we also get phone calls and emails. So from all of that, we've gathered these top 10 questions that I'll be going over today. Again, I'm Chris Mulcahy. I'll just go to the next screen here for you. Sorry, 1 second. And this is in the bottom left corner. You can see my name there, Chris Mulcahy. I am an account executive here at D3M at Teldio. And by the way, we're joined by Amanda Fogut, the marketing manager here. Amanda might want to say hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today.
And Amanda is going to help just keep an eye on the chat there. Again, the Zoom chat. Please ask your questions there, and we'll get to your questions at the end. I'll just go through the top 10 D3M frequently asked questions, and then, like I say, we'll open up the discussion after that. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So D3M, some of you are already using D3M, some of you are new to it. Either way, remember that D3M stands for Design, Document, Deliver, and Manage. And basically, this is a solution for your projects, any projects that require any diagramming, designing of networks, any documentation of these solutions that you're selling to your customers, and we're even automatically generating quotes and proposal documents and things like this. So everything from pre-sales to post-sales, D3M should be that tool that you're using. And so I'm just going to jump into the first of our top 10 frequently asked questions, and it is, how do I find a project in D3M? So how do I find a project in D3M? This is a good question, and this is referring to when you first enter D3M. How do you find any of your projects? Maybe you have a bunch of them. So let's just jump over here to D3M. First of all, whenever you want to get started, you are going to go to d3mnetworks.com and log in. If you're starting a new account, you have the sign up for the free 14-day trial there, or if you are an existing user like I am, you have your email and password and you sign in. Once you're signed in, the first thing you're going to see is the projects page. So this is where every project that you are involved on is listed. So if you own the project, or if it was shared with you in some way, it will be listed here. But back to the question, that first question, how do you find your project, that specific project you're looking for? Well, if say I have hundreds, in my case I do have hundreds of projects here, there are a few different tools that we provide to help you find those projects. So one is the filters. The filter here, by default, you're seeing everything, but you can filter by the status of the project. For example, pre-sales, let's just click the pre-sales button. And now I'm only going to see projects that are in the pre-sales stage. You have a variety of stages there, and you can select any of them to see them in that way. Another thing, if you have multiple offices, you can filter by office. So if I only want to see projects that were created here in Ottawa, Canada, then I would click that option there. That's the filtering option there. So filtering is an option. You can also sort. I can sort by the customer name in alphabetical order like that, or project name in alphabetical order, or last modified date, either the most recent or the least recent of my projects, and so on. So sorting options there. And I can search. So let's say I'm looking for a hotel project, or maybe, yeah, let's say a hotel project, and then I search the word hotel. That's going to bring up any projects with the word hotel in them. This is searching the customer name, the project name, and so on. But really, I could dig into it a bit deeper than that. There's a search by project data option. And if I were to search by project data, let's say it can be as specific as a serial number, or maybe there is a device such as an XPR 8300. If I search for that, this is going to find every project that includes that device. So that comes in pretty handy in that way. So this is that post-sales support and being able to find your past deployments. That's how that works there. So I think that answers that question. Let's just go over to the other next question. So that was question number 1. Remember, any questions you have about any of this, please write it in the Zoom chat window there, and we'll get to them at the end here. So next question. How do I link devices in my diagram? Okay, so how do I link? How do I make connections from device to device in the diagram? Let's just go back to D3M there. Let's enter a project. I'll just look for something here. Four Seasons Hotel project I had. Nope. Delta Hotel. Okay. I'll just quickly create a new one. Now, so how do you make connections? First of all, just a reminder that in your organization library here, in your icon libraries, you have manufacturer icon libraries. So everything that you need, anything that you need to build, the devices that you sell are listed right there, easily accessible. We have as well my library. This is where I keep my own devices, things that I saved to my library. So I have, for example, a duplexer here that I'll bring out, and a antenna, and let's put a repeater right here. So we have a few devices out here on the canvas. The question was, how do you connect these devices? So first of all, you want to look to the view options in the top right corner here, and there is a ports view. And when I click the ports view, I see the different ports here on the devices. So this repeater, for example, has these slot 1, slot 2, the transmit and receive ports. So I'll just go ahead and click, drag, and it automatically sticks to the transmit on the duplexer here. So the TX to the TX, simple as that. Just click on the RX here, drag, and it clicks to the RX there on the duplexer. So basically, to answer the question, it's as simple as turning ports view on, click, and drag. That's how the connections are made. So let's look at the next question. Number 3, how do I create an icon? All right, how do I create an icon? Well, to answer that question, there are a few different ways that you can create an icon. And one is, notice whether you're looking at the organization library of icons or my library of icons, at the bottom there's this new icon option. So if I click on new icon, what happens is I land on this screen with a 3-step process to create a custom icon. So first of all, I would do something, notice here that we give you several of these graphics, these vector graphics to choose from. We give you hundreds of them to choose from, or you can upload your own image. So the options are there, freedom, flexibility to do whatever it is you need to do. I can search this library of icons, and I'm going to look, for example, for a monitor. And here we have a computer monitor. I'm going to go with that graphic. Okay, on the next step here, I have the option to change the size of it. I can bump the size up a little bit like that, and I can put a port on it, or multiple ports. So I'll just go ahead and put an IP port. I'll save that there. Okay, again, you can adjust the size of it, the dimension of it, and put a port on it. In the third and final step, what you do is you put properties on there. So for example, I can put quote parts. So if I had a price for a monitor, an LED monitor, I'll put that on there. And let's say the manufacturer, I can set the property and the value of that property. Let's say it is a Samsung monitor. I add that. you can set any number of properties to a device that you create, and then I save that to my library. I need to put a name on it, so I'll call it Samsung Monitor. And notice that that's been added to my library right there. So in order to fully answer the question, I said that there are a couple ways of doing it. Well, you can also click once on anything in your library and then click down here to create custom. And this is a way of modifying something that already exists there. So if I click on that, it brings me back to this familiar screen, this three-step process. But here we are, landed on the second step of the process. I can now modify the shape of it a bit more. Again, those ports I can make edits to, and I can go to the third step where I set the properties, and let's say this is not a Samsung monitor, it's a Sony monitor, and I'll change the name of it here, Sony, save that, and now notice I have the Samsung monitor and a Sony monitor here. So that's a quick and easy way of modifying existing icons to create a new version of one. So that answers that, I believe. Just one last reminder, any questions you guys have, I've seen some things written there in the chat. Please do keep writing your questions there, and then we'll answer them at the end here. So next question, that was how do I create an icon? How do I duplicate a project? Okay, good question, and I'll give you, again, a couple different answers to this one. So how do I duplicate a project? Well, first of all, let's go back to the projects page. So there are a couple different ways of doing that. I can click the D3M logo here, or I can go to the drop-down menu, All Projects. So this one is the one I was just working on, the Four Seasons Hotel. Notice when you look at your projects listed here on the projects page that you have this actions column here. And under the actions column, you can delete a project, you can change the sharing options on that project, add people to the project basically, or you can click this settings icon there. And in the settings, you can edit the name of the customer, the name of the project, and so on. But notice in the bottom left corner here, there's a duplicate option. So this is going to come in handy if you ever want to work on a project that is similar to something, a previous deployment that you worked on. I'm going to click that button. And sometimes it takes a minute to process, especially depending on the size of the project. But what you'll see in the bottom right corner here is it says project duplicated and a link to go to that project. So I'll just click on that. And here we are. This is the that duplicate of that original project. So simple as that. Again, very useful if working on something similar to a previous project. Now, I said that there was another way of doing stuff like this, and one is this. We have, maybe it's not that you want to duplicate the whole project, but you just want to save a configuration that you designed here, a system that you designed. You want to save it to reuse it later. If that's the case, then you can simply do this. Select everything in your topology here, select what it is you want to save, and right-click, and we offer this option here, Save Bundle to my library. So saving a bundle is saving a whole configuration like that. So let's call this the top 10 bundle. All right, so the top 10 bundle, let's just look back to my library here. At the bottom is where the bundles are. There's the top 10 bundle. Actually, this is the new one, and I will drag that out, and there it is. That's a duplicate of what I had created before. So now that can be used on any future project. So I think that also helps answer that question. So we'll just move on to the next question. How do I design a multi-site system? So, of course, some systems that you might be working on, that you're designing, might have multiple sites. So how do you design a multi-site system? I'll show you how to do it and how to keep it organized. We'll just have a look here. Well, first of all, I guess using this simple example, we have two configurations here right now. The question how to do it, well, first of all, you would simply, using bundles, you can have pre-configured systems that would help you very quickly drag out a few different sites, a few different designs, and then you can easily modify these things. Double click on any device or connection to make modifications. You can delete parts and move parts and so on. But let's say that this is site 1 of your project and site 2 of the system. The tool that I want to point you here to that will be useful when designing multi-site systems is the area tool right here. So top left of the diagram there, the area tool, if you take that and simply drag out this dotted border around a site, and then you can double click the title of it, site 1, let's say, and you can quickly see that this is creating a visual border, so that helps keep things organized. I'll do that once more over here, site 2. But more than just visually keeping things organized, you now have this functionality over here where you can zoom out, zoom in, fit the whole project to the screen, or you can fit site 1 to the screen, fit site 2 to the screen, and so on. So it has that practical application there too. And by the way, there's a bit more to it. If you were to go to your inventory, your tables of inventory of the devices in your project, or a document, you can start filtering things by site 1, site 2, and so on. So it has a few different practical applications there. So I think that answers that question. So that was, how do I design a multi-site system? Next question is, how do I add shelves to my rack diagram? Okay, so we'll have a quick look at the rack and we'll see how that works. The answer is quite simple, really. We have here some things in our topology diagram. Let's just jump over to our rack diagram, and we'll see that those same devices from the topology are here, ready to go into a rack. If you follow this instruction here, the turquoise bubble that says add rack, simple as that, one click and you get a rack. By the way, the rack, you can adjust the height of it very easily, and when you drag devices in, you can adjust the height of those devices very easily. So if you need a shelf or some kind of reserved space in the rack, there's a tool right here near the top left. This is the rack container tool. If I click just once on there, then I can come in here and set a space. So this maybe 4U tall might be a shelf, an area to put smaller devices, and let's say, for example, I'll just grab what I have here, this antenna. I can bring that in, I can resize it, and just like that. So this tool, once again, the rack container tool, gives you that ability to create a space where you can put smaller devices. I think that answers that question. So that was, how do I add shelves to my rack diagram? Moving on to the next question, top 10 frequently asked questions. Can I copy data from spreadsheets to D3M? Okay, so this is a good question. I'm just going to jump into D3M again here. If I wanted to, for example, let's say I had a spreadsheet with 20 different serial numbers belonging to a group of 20 radios. I actually have a spreadsheet open here. I'll just show you quickly. So these 20 rows right there, I want to copy them into D3M. Okay, well, that can be done fairly easily. I'll just go back here. And first of all, what I want to do is create that group of radios. So that's pretty straightforward. If I go to my library here, and let's say this radio, this SL7550E is what I want, I just drag that out to my diagram. And as always, if I double click on something, I can change the properties of it. I can edit it however need be. But one option there is to change the quantity of it. So let's say this is now 20 radios. What happens, because D3M is always in sync, every section within D3M is showing the same data. These 20 radios are now in my inventory table, right there, 20 radios. and we said serial number, right? So if I want to copy and paste those 20 serial numbers in, first of all, you can do things like this. You can write, you can put radio IDs on here and create a logical sequence and easily drag down like this. The sequence is created in that way, or you can double click that bottom right corner, send the sequence all the way to the bottom. So there's that kind of thing. Or using a scanner gun, you can actually scan serial numbers into each of these cells. Or to answer the question, another way of doing it is from a spreadsheet. And if I were to grab these 20 right here, I am right clicking to copy. I'll do that, copy, and then go back to D3M, enter the cell, right click, and paste. Actually, I will do it with a keyboard shortcut. So I'm doing Control V, and there it is. So that fills the 20 rows there in that column. So a few different ways of inputting things, but yes, the answer is you can do that, and like I say, a few different ways of doing it. So that's that answer. Next question, moving along with the top 10 questions here. How do I generate a quote? Okay, so some of you may or may not know that D3M is able to automatically assemble a quote for you from the system that you design. So we'll just go back to D3M for a second here. I'll go to my topology. And let's say these couple sites that we created, this group of radios. First of all, what you want to do to see if a quote is being created is go to the view options here in the top right, and there is the quote view. Quote view shows you that the ones that are highlighted in green with the $ are ones that have pricing attached to them. So if I were to double click on this repeater, for example, I can see below my properties here that there is a quote part, $3,000 listed there. If I were to double click on my radio, same thing, $1,000 quote part attached to this, this group of 20 radios. So just so you know, if you are wondering how to import your pricing to D3M, if you haven't already done it, just click this chat box here in the bottom right corner, and you'll find that this gives you a few different, you can start a conversation with us, which we encourage you to do, ask us questions anytime. Then there's this find and answer quickly option here. If I were to write, let's say, the word quote in there, or if I were to write pricing list, or pricing, or Motorola, or anything like that, you'll find there's an article here that works really well. Upload Motorola pricing to D3M. Click on that, and you'll see the help article here. It's a simple process, just a few steps, and it shows you how you can go download the pricing from Motorola and then import it to D3M. It's pretty simple, only takes a couple minutes. So assuming that you, and by the way, this applies to any other kind of pricing that you're uploading, you would follow the same steps here. And you can do it again and again multiple times. So assuming that you have some pricing uploaded to D3M, then what happens is you can add any of those price parts to these devices. And by the way, with our new smart quoting feature, D3M remembers. When you do that once, D3M will remember it next time. And so that same price will always apply to this specific radio when you drag and drop it. And then what happens is if I am satisfied with what I'm seeing here, okay, it appears everything has pricing on it. If I go to the quote, there it is, automatically assembled. I can make any number of edits to this. There's a quick margin analysis, which is really handy there. And then you can export this quote as a CSV file, import it to QuickBooks or your accounting system, whatever it is you're using, your CRM. So it basically just does that job for you. It assembles your quote for you, and then you can send it over to whatever you need to send it to. I see questions coming in. Thank you for sending those questions. We'll be answering them just at the end here. So moving along to the next question. That was, how do I generate a quote? Next question, how do I download a PDF of my project? Okay, good question. How do I download a PDF of my project? I'll just jump over here to D3M. Now, a PDF, well, first of all, I'll answer it in a couple different ways. One is I want you to know that no matter which screen you're on in D3M, you always have this download option here. So this download option allows you to download an Excel sheet of your inventory, the products and connections, the devices and connections. You can download in an Excel sheet there, or you can get a quick snapshot, an image of your topology diagrams, your rack diagram, simply by downloading here. So just so you know, that option is there. Then another way of getting specifically a PDF is to go to Documents and create a document. So I tend to use my sales proposal template here. I'll just click on that one and I will call it Sales Proposal. And I'll click Create. So I won't focus on the proposal itself for too long, but just so you know, this just by creating a template one time, I now have a document that is automatically created, again, based on the system design in my diagrams and so on. To answer the question, how do you save a PDF, you go to this Export and Share button here, and that's where you get an option to download the PDF. If I click that, I see here that it's downloading, and as soon as it's ready, I'll see it pop up at the bottom of my browser here. So now that PDF has been downloaded to my computer. I can send it in an email or whatever it is you need to do with it, print it and so on. By the way, though, even better than a PDF sometimes is this share link that we provide. So you can copy that, and it would look like this if I open another window here. This share link gives your customer a view-only version of the document, so they can only view it, they can't edit, but it's always up to date. So pretty handy if you make a change to your proposal a minute after sending it, great, they're going to see that change. So something to be aware of, and that's how you download a PDF. So moving on to the next question. All right, top 10 frequently asked questions. This one is, how do I create a document template? How do I create a document template? All right, so a minute ago I mentioned that I had a sales proposal template. If I go back to my documents here, there's my sales proposal that I made a minute ago. If I create a new document here, I have these templates to choose from. So the question is, how do you create those templates? Well, one way is if you are an admin on your account. First of all, you need to be an admin on your account to manage templates, to create templates. But if you were to click Manage Document Templates here, this will bring you to the admin area in D3M. Notice the turquoise bar at the top. This is for admins only. And here is where you can manage, you can create a new template and so on. If I were to click Create a New Template, let's just call it New Template. And you go in here, you can, editing a document in D3M is very simple. You can insert a cover page easily, and this is where the document title and the project name and the customer name go. And you can insert pages very easily, and basically you just drag and drop things from the left side here. I can bring text in here, that's where my text will go. Click once to make text edits. On the next page, maybe I want to bring a diagram in, drag and drop, just like that. Simple as that. And when you're ready with this, you want to save this document to be, like I say, a template for your team to use, you would just click the Publish button here. So you click Publish, and then we go back to our templates page, and we'll see it here. So the new template has been published. All right. If you want to delete that, no problem. Just delete. Okay, now another way, just one other quick way of doing it is imagine you were in your project. I'll just hit the back button a couple times there. That project that we were in a minute ago, as an admin, sorry, just got a quick error message. If, by the way, you ever get an error message like that and you're not sure what that was about, you can always click the chat bubble here and ask us a question about that. But another way of doing this, again, if you are an admin on your account, is to click create a new document. You can work from a blank document, let's say. This will be our new template. Create. And again, assuming that you are an admin on your account, you can make any edits you want to this and then click new template at the bottom left, and here you can create a new template. Okay, by clicking this, it would send me back to that admin area where I can publish it and so on. So a couple different ways of doing that for admins on your D3M accounts. Now let's move on. We're getting close to the end of the top 10 frequently asked questions, and actually that was it. So just a quick reminder, we'll jump into those the chat there where some of you have been asking questions. But while I have this up on the screen, might as well remind you, those of you that are existing users with D3M accounts, and those of you that are maybe just getting started, Motorola offers a 100% co-op. Hytera is offering 50% co-op toward D3M, and ICOM is offering 100% up to $2,000 per year, which covers a 5-user unlimited projects plan. So just be aware of that. And of course, please, thank you for your time, those of you, any of you that are jumping off the call. And feel free to send me an email at any time, sales@d3mnetworks.com, or just click that chat bubble. We're here to help is the bottom line.